camera. It's all just falling apart. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Galactic Command. Look, our face is cutting it off.
There we go.
The Galactic Command Dark vs. Light overview.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about the other remaining. Actually, we still have two more remaining components of Galactic Command because next week will be Uprisings. But this stream we're going to talk about Dark vs. Light.
Yeah, which is really exciting.
Sorry,
I just was laughing
there
so
hard. There will be no karaoke, despite our discussions just before starting.
Someone in the stream said, bring back that loving feeling. And I'm like, should we do some karaoke?
He was into song instantly, instantly.
Yep. Yeah.
And I don't have a great voice, but I'm an enthusiastic singer. And I think that's kind of what counts.
Ben, I think you have a great voice. So let's start, as we always do, by talking about what the agenda for today's stream is going to be. So, community topics. Any of you who are in stream chat right now can probably see that people are bringing up one topic. We'll be talking about it in 30 seconds, so hold on. This is where we kind of talk about any of the stuff that's been prominent in the forums, on Reddit, or in general going on around the internet about the game. Promotions, we had already talked about this a little bit on Monday, but we just want to remind you guys of what sub rewards we have to offer for Knights of the Eternal Throne. Galactic Command, just in case someone's watching today who doesn't know what the system itself of Galactic Command is, we kind of just want to give you a quick reminder of what Galactic Command is, because if you don't know what it is, some of the Dark vs. Light stuff may not make sense.
Yeah, but it'll be super brief. It'll be a couple minutes only.
Yep, so we just want to make sure that that's clear. Then we will jump right into Dark vs. Light, explain all about the system, what it does, how it affects you, and then carry into the next one, which is, what do you get for it? People like to get rewards for things, so we're going to tell you about what that is.
And have your notepads and pens ready, because there is detail flowing.
There is detail.
Dark vs. Light.
Yep, and then we will end it with just a reminder of what the rest of our streams and blogs and streams are going to be as we continue through Knights of the Eternal Throne. Shall we dive in?
Let's do it.
Boom. Okay, so community topics from the community. Gearing in Galactic Command. So, anyone who has looked at the forums or Reddit has certainly noticed that we're making some changes on how you get gear, how you get things in Knights of the Eternal Throne. So, I've spent a lot of time in the forums, I've spent a lot of time on Reddit, on social media, just reading feedback, gathering all that feedback, and passing it on to these guys on the dev team. Certainly one of the things that has come up quite a bit is what people affectionately will call RNG, which really what that means is I'm going to get a command crate, and in that command crate, I'm going to get a piece of gear. But I don't necessarily have control over what that piece of gear is. So a general feeling of, well, I'm going to be punished, especially what if I play a tank and a DPS? How does that work? So why don't I hand it over to you, Ben, to talk a little bit about your thoughts on it and where we're going with that.
Yeah, so I think overall, and we stated this earlier in the week, overall the goal is to make gearing more simple. It's our belief that right now in the game, there were too many forms of currency, too many types of tokens, too many different vendors who you would cash in those tokens and currencies with, that for a lot of people that was very confusing and very difficult. So our goal ultimately is to simplify. And so one way to simplify is, hey, we're going to have this command rank system where when you get command ranks by playing any activity in the game, you get a crate of gear.
Right.
Now, I think the specifics of how those crates work is really where the interesting part gets, and that's where a lot of the feedback on the forums have been. So I think the first one we can address is gear being determined, by advanced class. And so we mentioned that earlier in the week. Hey, we want to do it by advanced class. That way you can get gear drops across all the different disciplines as part of that class. But we've been reading the forums like Eric mentioned the last couple of days, and we've heard a lot of your guys' feedback, and we agree on a change that was suggested from the player base, which is, hey, it would be way better if the command crates gave you gear per discipline. And so we've agreed to make that change, and that's something that we're going to update. It's really, really great feedback. It's one of those things that it's really awesome to see something that's overwhelming from the community, and we kind of sit here and go, yes, actually, that is the best way to do it. So, how will that actually work?
Yep.
The idea is that when you open a command crate, it will give you loot based on your current discipline. And so why that's really important is because it means, let's say you play a Juggernaut, I play a Juggernaut, and you go off and you tank a bunch of uprisings or flashpoints or whatever it is that you like to do, but you already have all the tanking gear that you want, and you want to get some DPS gear.
Right.
You can kind of collect 5 or 10 crates or however many you like, and then you can swap over to one of your 2 DPS specs and then open all those crates and you'll get gear for the DPS spec. And so it really allows you that flexibility of saying what type of gear do you want and open the crates and do it that way. So that's kind of the first point.
Yep.
I think the second point around some of the RNG nature of, well, let's say that every piece of gear drops a belt. Like the RNG gods are against me, and I don't happen to get like all the different pieces that I want.
Right.
So I think the answer to that question is, well, there's a little bit of punishment to RNG, but remember, in our game, you can rip out the mods in a piece of gear and put them in other pieces of gear. So if you get a couple of belts, you can pull the gear from that belt out and put it into different items. And so in that way, you can spread the gear around your character much easier than you could if that wasn't the case.
Yep. And one of the other things that can be punishing about specifically with gearing is, and I've seen this mentioned a lot, and this is completely a fair point because we hadn't elaborated on it, which we're about to, which is, man, if I'm playing and I get 1 crate a week or 3 crates a week, and they're all belts,
right,
I'm going to flip this table because that's really punishing. So the one thing we haven't talked about is
how often
am I going to get crates? So Charles, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so that absolutely was one of the biggest concerns we've seen, and I've seen a lot of people that seem to think that it's one way or another, that it takes a huge amount of time or you have to be really hardcore to even get a crate in a day. Totally not true. So the actual goal of the system that we're shooting for right now is that for a regular player who's doing, say, a group content at kind of the standard difficulty, you're probably going to be getting a crate every hour, maybe every hour and a half. That's going to kind of scale as you move through the levels. In the beginning, it's probably going to be even faster than that, maybe half hour. We're still kind of working those numbers out. But and then starting at kind of a really, really short time and then moving your way up to maybe an hour and a half, we're going to kind of play with those numbers, see what feels best. But you're going to be getting a lot of crates. And the goal is, if you're doing harder content, like if you're doing a nightmare operation, you're going to be getting them much faster than that even. So potentially a couple of crates in an hour. You could be doing op and walk out of there with 2 or 3 crates, potentially.
Yep.
We're still working those numbers out. That's just kind of the goal that we're shooting for. But we really want you to be getting lots of loot crates. We want you to be getting that reward, frequently, so that you can be, again, getting another chance to roll, another chance to get the reward that you really want.
And so we kind of hope that those things combine between getting lots of crates all the time in every play session that you're playing and the ability to pick between the discipline you're getting specific gear for, that will mean that there are much fewer situations where people feel like they're going through a long period of time without an upgrade. And arguably, you'd be going through less time than you would right now. You'd be getting gear faster than you would right now, and ideally getting upgrades a little faster than today, while still honoring if I'm doing the hardest group content in the game, I'm getting gear faster than people who are doing the easiest content in the game.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And the last thing as a note before we'll move back, so I guess 2 last things of a note is, keep in mind that also in those command crates, besides just getting the possible belt scenario, you're also getting multiple other items, including, mounts, cosmetic gear, crafting schematics. You're getting lots of other stuff as well in there. And for one, that's exciting if you want those items. And if for some reason you don't, just keep clicking disintegrate, and you'll just get your next command crate even that much faster.
Yeah.
So that's all we're going to talk about today as it relates to gearing.
There's one more thing I saw. Yeah. It's not really about gearing maybe, but it was about weekly cap.
Oh, yeah.
So I talked about this a little bit in the forums because I know there was a concern that we were going to put in a cap to artificially slow you down.
Yeah.
There is a cap, but it has nothing to do with slowing you down.
Yeah.
It is solely there in case for some reason the off chance something gets through that we didn't catch that someone can try to exploit. We'll stop them from doing that and catch them and cap that off. But in no way is the cap meant to slow you down. We want you just getting crates and getting through command
We've
rank.
set the target so that we don't think anyone ever hits it by playing naturally.
Yeah, which I know the response is going to be challenge accepted. Please try to hit it. We encourage
play
you
the
to
game more. That would not be terrible.
We encourage you to try to hit it.
There's another great one there. Can we rip out our mods from stuff? You absolutely can.
Yep.
Trade it all around.
Yep.
So that's another way you can.
I think the only thing we're not 100% on is if you can rip out the armorings. We just got to double check that.
Yep, but I will verify that and get that answer to you either after the stream or tomorrow. But again,
which ultimately the nuance there is just around set pieces. And I saw the question in the stream, well, what if I just need the X set piece? Well, that might be the place you have to run RNG, but we'll clarify that and make a post about it.
Yeah. But anyway, so we just wanted to cover at least some of that because we know that's been a big topic this week. So we had some changes and some other information. So keep the feedback coming, please. Forums, Reddit, social media, post it everywhere. We're reading it, and we'll let you know if anything changes.
Yeah. So if I clear all nightmare operations on one tomb, will I hit the cap? Ideally, no.
Nope.
Yep. Okay. Promotions. So we'll start with this image because it's an amazing walker, and I love the smuggler that is in this picture as well. And we're going to start. I realized we kind of did a disservice last stream. One, we didn't argue about things that were better or not better. But that's besides the point. But we also didn't give anything away for free. And that seems like that was our bad. So, in honor of doing that, what we're going to do is, this is the Rapid Recon Walker, which is a promotion which is
for subs who are subscribed, through the period up to Knights of the Eternal Throne's release.
And I'll show you the dates for that in a second. We're not going to give this away, but what we are going to give away is one of the other Walker mounts that exists in the game right now. It's called the ST7 Recon Walker. It's not currently available in any cartel packs, unless you happen to get it from a Grand Chance Cube. So they're very rare right now, and they're also always very rare, right? They're just great items.
Not to mention really cool.
What we're going to do is, Tate is sitting back at his desk and managing this. If you would like to try to win that Walker, please type the word Walker into chat. Again, type the word Walker into chat, and Tate will do a raffle. We'll give away three of them.
Sounds fair.
Hold on, 5. It's our 5th year anniversary.
Oh,
We've
of
got to give
course.
5 out.
Missed
Obviously.
opportunity.
Yeah.
We're going to give away 5 Walkers. So please type the word Walker into chat if you want a chance to win. Tate will do a drawing, and he'll be in touch with you to get your information to give you that awesome Walker.
Yeah.
So again, the subscriber
almost.
awards. Yeah, go ahead.
Keep it going. Yeah. So we've got several cool things coming up. Shay Vizsla as a companion. She's the awesome, Mandalore, the leader of the Mandalorians, badass bounty hunter. You saw her in the Blur trailers, the cinematics that we did before launch. She's going to be available for those who subscribe as of October 25th, which is next week.
5 days away.
Yeah.
5 days away.
It's coming up.
Yeah. So make sure you're subbed. Get Shay.
And just like we talked about, Rapid Recon Walker, going to be awesome. And that's for people who are subbed on November 27th.
Yep.
And of course, early access, everyone's favorite. You get to jump in a little early, going to get a head start on Galactic Command over your friends. So you can, if you're subbed through both of those dates, October 25th and November 27th, you're going to get that as well.
Yep. So those are all the
and that starts November 28th.
Correct. Yeah. Early access will then start on November 28th, and it is for 3 days of early access. So Ben,
Shall we, at what point, stop the walkering? Just because I love it, but
Tate is announcing winners, so I'm going to say, when you hear my 30-second delayed voice, you can go ahead and stop typing Walker.
Okay.
Tate is announcing the winners. So you guys can check chat if you want to know who the winners are, and Tate will reach out to you through Twitch private message to get your information.
Cool. Yeah, so we wanted to just very quickly recap Galactic Command in case people missed the stream. So Galactic Command is a brand new system, the goal of which is to facilitate endgame progression. So once you hit max level 70, if you're a subscriber to the game, again, we want it to be a subscriber perk. Another reason to give all of you guys that are paying attention to the stream today, another benefit of being one of our most loyal players. Facilitates, again, endgame progression, and it's the way in which you earn power in the game from now on. And then we'll be talking about Dark versus Light, which is another big part of it in a second.
Yep.
Tied into Galactic Command are a couple of things that are really important in terms of brand new content we're releasing with Knights of the Eternal Throne. So we're going to have a whole bunch of new 4-player uprisings. This will be brand new group content added to the game. In 3 different difficulty modes. The hardest difficulty will be a real challenge, even to some of our more veteran players, especially early on. In Galactic Command, when you still have the earlier tiers of gear, and so they will be releasing more of them post-launch as well, which is really exciting. We have brand new.
By the way, I feel like Tate has announced like 15 winners at this point. I just keep seeing winners keep popping up, and everyone's starting to enter Walker again. Madness is happening in chat right now.
So there are brand new repeatable chapters with challenge modes. As you know, we're releasing 9 new chapters. The chapters will tie directly into Galactic Command once you unlock that at level 70, so you can replay those chapters. They'll be scaled up to level 70, and you can challenge yourself on harder difficulty modes. Again, for a solo player, the hardest difficulty mode will be a really difficult challenge, especially early on when you have the lower tiers of gear, and even when you have higher levels of gear, it'll still be quite a challenge for a solo player. You earn Galactic Command experience points to gain command crates, and we've talked about that quite a lot so far. Getting command crates ideally every hour-ish on average, depending on how you play the game. Opening them will give you power, as well as cool things like mounts, vanity, materials, etc. And then also just the rest of the game ties into this as well. What we really wanted to do is say, hey, when you hit max level, and if you love playing Star Wars: The Republic, you play the game any way you want. And as long as you play the game, you'll get command points. Now, the harder things, more challenging things you do will get you more points and get you gear faster. But we just wanted everything you do in the game to contribute to this in a meaningful way.
Yep. And all
the
of this-
highlighted activity, of course, what I
Right.
forgot is we'll cycle through activities every day that will give bonus command points.
Yep.
So, that might be war zones one day, it might be uprisings a different day, just to incentivize you guys, again, if you want to play a variety of different activities in the game and check them out.
And it also gives you additional bonus dark and light side points that you earn.
Yes.
Which is important as we jump into Dark vs. Light, right?
Yeah.
So first off, this is the Galactic Command user interface. We talked a little bit about it last week. The thing that you're really going to focus on is the bottom of the screen, so I will just show you the bottom of the screen. Charles, you want to explain a little bit about what they're looking at?
Yeah, exactly. So this is the dark versus light bar, essentially. So what this represents, the top screen, you've probably all seen it a million times. You're very familiar with it. This is your character's alignment. That is separate from this system, but it does tie into it in some very interesting ways. Galactic alignment, you can see labeled there. What that's referring to is really your server. So as you participate in the game and everyone else on your server participates in the game, you're going to be earning dark and light side points, both through the traditional methods that you always did by making decisions in story, but also now you'll be able to do it through just about everything you do, defeating NPCs, completing quests, all sorts of stuff. Will now also give you alignment points that both affect your personal alignment, but also drive the galactic alignment, the sort of server level alignment that trying to drive this battle between light and dark side. And so you can kind of see it's just a bar. It's similar. It moves one way or the other depending on who's winning, and that's going to lead to some really interesting stuff that we're going to dive into now.
Yep. So one of the interesting questions that I saw in chat is, why are you guys making it that my personal choices and everyone else's choices kind of affect me? I kind of want it to be insular to kind of my choices. So
Right.
hang on, because we'll get into that, because your personal alignment is actually very important as well.
Yeah, it's really a key factor to who's winning and whether you want them to win.
Yep. So let's talk about when you're going to actually earn points, right? So
Yeah, and again, just reiterating, the goal here is participate in any activity in the game to earn dark or light side points. So very much like we talked about with command points, we want you to be able to earn dark or light side points by doing any activity that you want. And ultimately, this boils down to killing things and completing missions is the way that you can earn dark side and light side points. Similar to command experience points, when you participate in the highlighted activity in Galactic Command, you can earn bonus points towards your alignment. So that's a pretty important detail. And kind of one call out, we're about to go through a whole lot of examples and a whole lot of detail, and this system I think is really cool, and we're all really excited to talk about it. Because in our current event right now, the Dark vs. Light event, which ties into this a little bit, but it's basically unrelated. But because right now the light side is winning that event, all the examples we go forward for us to the stream are going to be from the light side perspective. So we'll talk about what happens when the light side wins and the light side loses. But you can just assume that if you're a dark side player, it's just the opposite.
Correct.
But for the sake of trying to make this simple,
Right.
we're going to pretend we're light side people because the light side is dominant right now across the galaxy.
because otherwise, every time we said light side or dark side, we'd have to say dark or light side. So just assume, again, light side is going to be winning for the rest of everything that we're talking about. Dark side is going to be losing.
So your actions impact the dark versus light war. So do you want to, Charles?
Yeah,
talk about
so,
this?
every, say, we're thinking 15 minutes, half an hour, basically intervals of time on your server, you're going to be getting updates on the progress of this battle, this struggle between light and dark. And so that's going to be kind of assessed every kind of short time period, like I said, maybe half an hour or something like that. And it's basically going to be looking at, which side has won in that interval,
Right.
and then that's going to tick it forward towards that side. So in our example, light side is winning. Light side has just won an interval. It moves forward to the next level.
Yep.
Yeah, and I don't know if we called it out, but in the big galactic light versus dark meter, there's kind of 5 sides each way. So you go light 1 through light 5, neutral dark 1 through dark 5.
Yep. And so just as a note too, as Charles just said, what's important is that snippet of time. So once you get an update, it's almost like a whole new battle has begun, and you really want to push for it again. So the nice thing is that it's kind of scalable, right? Like let's say you're on like one of those big servers where there's lots and lots of big guilds, or maybe you're on like a server that has slightly less people. None of it matters, because it really just depends on light and dark side. How much are they banging against each other? The actual points relative to each other don't matter. It is just how much you're earning against the other.
So the battle ends when one side hits, the rank 5, essentially. So in our example, light side is winning. They get to light 5. So they have won. And then there's sort of a winning condition, if you can click it for me. So there's a victory state that kicks in then. It's probably going to last about an hour. So during that time, there's lots of really great benefits, especially if you're the winning side. But actually, both sides get some very cool stuff that they can do during that time period, just to kind of keep things dynamic and keep everyone involved. So while the victory state is going on, you're going to be earning dark or light side tokens from various things you do, as well as, depending on if you're the winner, you will be getting them from your command crates.
Yep.
And just the goal of the whole thing is to keep this fast, keep it moving, keep it exciting, right? We don't want you to feel like you're bogged down and it's always kind of sticking in the middle or what have you. It's you want to be seeing a side win every night, maybe even a couple times a night. So if you're playing for a few hours, you should see a win, maybe even multiple wins. Going through it, and that's going to drive some really cool stuff that we're going to kind of dive into as we move along here.
Which is super important because we want everyone to experience what happens when one side is in the win state, the victory state.
Yep. Yeah, because one of the goals that's important to point out, because as we talk about the rewards and things that happen when one side wins, certainly your question will be, well, how often will I see that? And we're going to talk about control measures, which is the next bullet, but the goal really is that there will be multiple victories every day.
Yeah.
Like it is meant to really be frantic. Like, oh God, Light's winning, I have to do X, Y, Z, and we'll get to what X, Y, and Z are.
And the last point is just, if you happen to be, on the side that didn't win a couple times in a row, they'll get a catch-up mechanic, and the more times you're not on the winning side, the greater your chances are to push it to your side.
Oh, and I guess we should actually clarify, just to be 100% clear, what decides if you're on the winning side or not is your personal alignment.
Yes,
so
right.
if you are light 1 through light 5 on your character, and the server is light 1 through light 5, then you are on the winning side. Your character is on the winning side. And so when it hits light 5, your character's light side, you're on the winning side. You get to take advantage of that victory state in special ways.
And I saw a good question earlier, which is this light and dark, or is this Republican Empire? This is specifically your character's alignment, as in I am a light side Jedi, I am a dark side smuggler. It is not Republican Empire. That is an important distinction, so I'm glad someone asked that.
And there's a question here, what if it never reaches dark 5 or light 5 because you're the only one on the server? If you're the only one on the server, you'll push it all the way.
Yeah. What are you? Because you'll win.
Because again, you have to remember, it's not like a total amount of points to push it. It's just every, say, 30 minutes, we see who has more points, light or dark. The winner pushes it 1 tick to their side. If they win by a huge amount, we're going to push it 2 ticks to their side. So if the dark side is truly dominating, you'll get to the victory condition
Even
much
faster.
faster. So it does scale with a number of players, and it's not an absolute number, so you get stuck in the middle. We should be pushing you up and up.
And I am seeing a good question, which is what happens if I'm neutral? So right now it is actually almost impossible to be purely neutral. You would either have a
Choose
slight
your
edge.
side.
You would have a slight edge, dark or light. So if you want to ride that line, there actually might be advantages to doing that too, and we'll talk about that when we get to
you can be like
rewards.
a mercenary who, you pick whoever is the not winning, and you try to drag it back all the time. That could be
you could play
there
both.
could be guilds of people who dedicate their lives to doing that.
You can play,
if that's
you
what
can
they
play
choose
both
to do.
sides of it, and we'll get to that in a second when we get to rewards. But
So let's talk about dark versus light battles. So
This is really cool. I'm excited about
this is a really important thing for us. We know that something that our players really want is some more social things, to kind of band together in groups and form guilds. And so what we wanted to do is try to bring something to light in the dark versus light system that accomplishes that. So one of the things we're going to be doing is during the victory state, so in our example, if we get to light 5, we'll be spawning bosses all around the galaxy once the light side wins that. And these are going to be very difficult bosses to fight. Right now we're thinking around 8 to 16 players, potentially more. It'll take to get together to go and find these bosses throughout the world and defeat them.
Yep.
And then, bosses spawn randomly in more parts of time. Wow, I'm way ahead of myself.
Look at you.
Yep.
All right, what else we got?
one of the important distinctions too, as when you're talking about multiple planets and the victory state, is something we didn't mention earlier, is when one side wins, so it gets to light 5. Light has won, there will be a bunch of light side enemies that spawn on multiple planets simultaneously that are only there while the light side is in victory.
Right.
And that's that time period, how long it's going to last. We're still working that out, maybe like
Probably an
1 to 2
Yeah,
hours
probably.
maybe.
Yeah.
So you have only that amount of time to go kill those people to try to stop them. So maybe there are Jedis spawning on Dromund Kaas and attacking. We'll get into more of what that is at a later time.
But I
But
think we kind of picture it like, you've got your guild. They spawn on the planets. You got to discover where on the planets, which planets have them, which instances of the planets have them. You kind of send your guilds out to different planets. You discover where it is. You move your capital ship in. You summon all your guildies, and you go down and defeat the boss. That's kind of how we would like to see this pan out. But how you guys do it is really going to be up to you. And that's kind of the cool thing.
You're a progression guild and you're like, we got our organized 10-man team. We found it. Everybody move the guild ship there. Let's go fight them. Cool. Now you have some other group stuff
Yeah.
to kind of bang your head against in the open world that's going to spawn every multiple times a day. And we'll get to the rewards in a second. Or maybe you're not. Maybe you're just the guy who's, I want my choices to just be mine. I'm on my own. Oh, God, the dark side won. I'm light side. I'll go grab all these other people that are around me, and we'll go kind of bang our head against this boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But rewards obviously matter.
Yep.
So why win? And if I don't win, do I get anything?
Right.
So Charles, why don't
Yeah.
you take us through the victory slide?
So the winners get some very cool stuff. First and foremost, it's access to special rewards that are on a vendor on the fleet. And this vendor is only available when a side has won and when that particular side has won. So in this case, the light side is won. You can get to special light side vendors, get special cool stuff, mounts, mini pets, cosmetic items, all sorts of cool things that tie in, sort of thematically with the light side.
Yep. And just as a reminder, you can only access that vendor and these rewards if you are light side
Right.
and the light side has won.
Right.
So that's where, again, your personal alignment actually really does matter.
Right. Also, and this is really, to me, the best part of all of this, is that you're going to get bonus to your command experience points while that victory condition is going. So if you are light side has just won, while that victory condition is going, you're going to be getting bonus command experience points, which is going to be getting you to those sweet, sweet crates even even a little bit quicker. And you can then stack that with the highlighted Galactic Command activity of the day to get an even larger bonus, so you can be potentially earning some really fast points while your side is winning. And related to that vendor, you're going to be earning light side tokens every time you get a crate. So while you're doing those, taking advantage of that multiplied Galactic Command experience, you're earning your crates. The more you can get, the better you're going to be, because you're going to earn more light side tokens, which you can take to the vendor and get some really cool stuff.
Yep. And one important distinction on earning those tokens is that's just not when you've won. So in this example, if you're light side, as soon as you're in light 1, as soon as that bar goes on your side, every time you increase command rank, you're going to get a token. You don't have to have even won yet. You just have to be winning, and you'll get more tokens. So,
Yeah.
Now, the dark side. If you're on the, we don't like the term losing, but let's say that your team was defeated and you are not the winners. Do you want to, Charles?
Yeah, so
you're
going
to roll.
Yeah, why not? So while you're in that victory condition, you're going to be getting a bonus to alignment points. So while the light side's off celebrating and having a party and thinking that they're so great, you're going to be getting a bonus to every alignment point that you do. So this is going to give you a really great chance to jumpstart it back your direction when you're not on the winning team. And again, if you're playing the highlighted activity in Galactic Command, you're going to be getting an even larger alignment bonus, as well as the bonus Galactic Command points that were already there for doing the daily highlighted activity. Then, as we mentioned, we've got these awesome bosses spawning all over the galaxy. If the light side wins, they're going to be light side bosses spawning in various planets around the galaxy. You can group up with your friends, stomp around, wipe these assholes out, take them down, get things back to the dark side. And that's going to drop dark side tokens for you, as well as command experience points, so that when you do push the battle back your way, you can take advantage of it.
And one thing that's important, if you go back 1 second, I guess you can actually leave it on that slide, the next slide too. Recap it, and then I'll talk about the thing. I saw a good question that came up.
Let's put them all there. So just to kind of summarize, we want to make sure there are really good incentives, both if you're on the victory side or on the defeat side. And so again, if light side wins, you're going to get bonus command points. So you want to, in that hour or however long we end up defining the victory state for, do as much activity in the game as you can to totally take advantage of earning bonus command points. You'll also be getting light side tokens with each command crate you earn, even from light 1 through light 5. And of course, you get access to the exclusive vendor with light side rewards. Now, if you're on the dark side and the light side wins, you'll get bonus dark side points by doing any activities in the game. But really, the ultimate goal for you is to go and throughout the galaxy and find, all the new Jedi or whoever it is that we're going to put across the galaxy, defeat these big bosses, and earn command points as well as dark side tokens. Now, if the light side wins, the light side people can still go and fight these bosses. Yep. And that's where I think some strategy comes in play, because you might decide that you're going to deny the dark side their command points. You're going to deny the dark side their dark side tokens, and you're not going to let them pull the galaxy back to the light side of the Force.
Especially in places like PvE instances, right? When it's like, that you can see that there's a bunch of dark side players kind of gathering up to go take down the boss, and you just walk over and you sneak in with your guild and you kill them. It's like, well, thanks for the free command points, guys. Enjoy not having any tokens.
And I think, this is going to play out in so many interesting ways, and it depends on how the community chooses to do it. But PvP instances are a great example. It might be that you're a PvE player, but all the PvE bosses are down. But those PvP instances are still spun up, and there are still bosses to be defeated there. And do you want to venture there? Will there be the opposite empire waiting to dispatch you once you get there? I think there'll be some really interesting ways this can play out.
So one of the questions that came up, I definitely do want to confirm that every single boss is Kefis. That is accurate. Just kidding, that is not real. One of the questions that did come up that was great though is, what about if you're not level 70? What if you're not a subscriber? How does any of this work? So earning dark and light side points, the second you log into the game, everything that you do will be earning points. Level 1, level 55, 70, doesn't matter, you will earn points. The rewards, which I think is probably a lot of the question, unless something relates specifically to Galactic Command, you can still get it. A level, assuming you can get to the fleet, so you're level 7 or 8, you can go fight bosses you can go fight these bosses that are spawning and get tokens. You can access the vendor if you're on the winning side to go buy things. The only thing you won't get, you'll also get the bonus alignment points. The only things you won't get is you won't get the bonus command points because you don't have access to Galactic Command until level 70, and since you're not gaining command rank, you won't get those tokens either. That's
right, because we wanted the dark versus light system to be representative of the whole entire galaxy, and everyone contributes to it, whereas command experience and Galactic Command is for people who have progressed through the whole entire game and are doing the end game content.
Yep.
Cool.
All right.
So let's put all these down just so we can see.
Yep.
All right, so let's wrap it up. I guess I'll start. So starting at level 1, we just said you can earn dark and light side points to sway the balance of the Force. The war is per server, so every server will be in a different state of flux between the dark and light, depending on who is waging the fiercest war.
And I do want to reiterate, because this is a question that we got, I know a lot when we had first talked about dark versus light in the overview is, well, what about, like Conquests, my server, they have this one guild who's super dark side and they just run everything. Again, if they keep winning a bunch, it's going to be harder and harder for them to win every subsequent time. So no matter whether you're dark or light, your side will win eventually. If you're the one light side guy in your server, we'll get that bonus over to you enough that eventually you'll take everyone down.
Yep. Winning will cause large group boss battles around the galaxy. I think this is really cool, having some very tough bosses to fight that will require 8 to 16 or even more. We're still kind of tweaking with the balance to see what numbers feel right. That's a really cool way, again, to incentivize some social activity, get some guilds together, and the command points that drop from these bosses are going to be meaningful. Like, this is what, if you are in a guild and you have the social infrastructure to deal with these, this will be the thing that is for sure worth your time. So I think that's really exciting.
Yep.
The Galactic Command highlight activity will affect both command experience points and dark versus light point gain. Everyone will earn rewards based on their character alignment, and there's a new currency we're adding here, dark and light side tokens. Token is just a placeholder name. We're going to work out exactly what we want to call it, but a currency that you earn by contributing as part of the system that allows you to buy really unique rewards from vendors. And at launch we'll have a bunch of stuff on them, and then the goal would be over time, we'll probably add some more things to that as we go.
Yep. We definitely want this to be something that everyone is looking at. You log in and you go, what's the state of the war right now? Maybe you're like, oh man, Dark's winning. I'm on my light side Jedi. Maybe I need to switch to my dark side character and help push this over so that we'll win in the next hour, and then I can just start racking up some command points.
Especially because of how it ties into, command point generation. I think there's going to be a lot more strategy when you log in of deciding, how will I play the game right now?
Yep.
Do I want to just play the thing I feel like playing? Do I want to try to maximize my command points? Am I upset that the light side is behind and I need to go crush out some light side points? So I think that'll add a lot of layers and strategy to the game, and we just really hope that players kind of band together and form guilds around the things they want to do, and I think that'll be really exciting if that all happens.
Yeah. So, just as a reminder, again, as we're heading towards close of what our future updates are. Like I said, we're committed to trying to make sure that we come to you guys once a week at least to give you some information. So probably if it's not already, soon after we're done talking, there will be a blog, again, which basically recaps everything we just said about Dark versus Light, which will be live on the website. Next week, next Thursday, we're going to be talking about uprisings. I don't know yet if we're going to show one or not. We're still working out exactly what we'll do, but we'll definitely be talking you through uprisings, what they are, how they're different than what you might expect, etc. And then the week after that, we're going to talk about some of the general combat stuff that's going to be happening in Eternal Throne, along with a basic preview of some of the class changes that are coming. The week after will be repeatable chapters and the difficulty levels associated with them. The week after that will be our new planets and story insights with Charles is what I have it listed as on the slide, but I have way cooler names for it. And then after that is the week before launch already. So we'll do a wrap up where we'll kind of just recap everything that we've already talked about and just have some time for any unanswered questions now that kind of everything's out there.
Yep. And so, I mean, there are a bunch of other questions in the stream. I don't know if, before we sign off, maybe we just answer a few more if we see any that are kind of worth talking through. One I saw was, are crates legacy bound? No, crates are per character. The command rank system is representative of your character's personal progression.
Yep.
The
one sort of exception to that is the gear that drops is bind on pickup, but everything else that drops in it is not. It's bind on equip. So if you get something that is like a chase cosmetic item of some kind, like a mount or something, theoretically you could sell it if you didn't want to disintegrate it.
I saw someone. What was it? Someone was just asking about the chapters. Just how many chapters are there? Is that all at once? Is it spread out? We kind of talked about this in the last stream, but it's 9 chapters. It all comes out when Knights of Eternal Throne launches, and that was really kind of our strategy this year was to focus on those chapters with the expansion. Start doing some repeatable multiplayer stuff with the expansion, and then really focus on that kind of content, repeatable group kind of stuff, as we move forward from there, rather than the monthly chapters. We really wanted to move more to the play all the story at once, have your Netflix binge, do it that way, because that seemed to be really what y'all were looking for, what players seem to enjoy the most. So that's kind of how that works, and then moving forward from there, lots of the cool repeatable stuff.
Great question that I saw, and I will say thank you, is are we good? Does that mean we're going to stream on Thanksgiving?
No.
No, I am not. I will change that. It will probably be on Wednesday, would be my
23rd
guess.
or 22nd
But
would make more sense.
Good catch.
Yeah.
No, we're probably not going to stream on Thanksgiving.
Do you even know how to calendar, bro? What is
No,
this?
Clearly I do not have any idea how dates work.
Someone mentioned... So it's a complicated gearing system with a complicated DVL system. Here's a really interesting thing. I think this system, as well as Galactic Command, plays out to be really simple. I think for the player who just goes and plays, you'll get gear by just playing the game. You'll see light side and dark side change by just playing the game.
Yep.
For all of you guys, our core players, we're explaining the inner workings of how the sausage is made, and always that ends up being a little complicated because to make it work, there has to be a bunch of rules. And so, we all really believe our goal is to make this a really simple to understand system that also has depth. So new players can come in, understand it, have a great time, but all of you guys, our core players, you guys can really get into this deeper strategy of min-maxing the system and how to get the most out of it. And so I would say it's simple but has depth. As opposed to complicated, but ultimately when we get this out to all of you guys, you can be the judge of that.
One of the other questions that I saw quite a bit, and I've talked about it a little bit in the forums, is with the changes that are happening in general with Galactic Command and with gearing, what is going to happen to insert X commendations? So my crystals, my Warzone commendations, we're still working out exactly how and what they will convert into. So as soon as we have that information locked down, I will be sure to let you guys know. I'm hopeful that I'll actually have that information maybe next week. But we'll see. I'm not exactly sure. We're just working out the details. And I don't want to tell you it's converting to something and then it converts to something else because you may want to prepare for it.
Get all the right info.
So I just want to make sure that it's locked before I say anything. But should be coming soon.
Yeah, I saw one other that was interesting. Folks asking, do you have to create a new character to participate in this Dark versus Light thing like you did with the Dark versus Light event?
Good question.
Admittedly, they are named very similarly, so I can understand that. But no, this is purely based on whatever characters you have now. Of course, you can make a new character as part of the expansion. Start at 65 when you sub. But that aside, there's no need to create new characters to participate in this activity. It's on the game. It's in the game. It's for everybody who's involved.
All right. Well, we are almost 10 minutes over.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we'll call it there for today. Again, I do want to reiterate that there'll be a blog that goes up that's kind of a recap of a lot of what we talked about today. Those of you who have been giving feedback on the forums and please keep that coming. I'll be in there on the forums trying to answer as many questions as I can, passing the feedback back to these guys. We'll let you know of any other changes that happen in the future.
And we'll be here next week, so
we'll be here next
we can
week.
address more questions next week.
Yep.
Any that we don't get to in the forums or that come up later.
Yep. Also, Kefis. Also saw someone say that one of the bosses should be Kai Zykin, and I agree.
You have no idea how much Eric pitches Kai Zykin in literally every idea that comes up.
Listen, it's going to happen someday. Someday it'll be real.
He'll be
You'll know.
back.
Maybe on
You'll know.
April 1st.
You'll
That's the
know.
only day Kai Zykin exists, is April 1st.
You'll know. All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
You can't even see that hand.
Yeah,
Thank you
appreciate
very
it,
much.
y'all. Thanks for
and
hanging
we'll,
out.
we'll see you in a week.
Yep, keep
Yeah.
sharing your thoughts.
Take
See you
care,
later.
guys.
Take
See you
care.
later.